Do you think body fat is an enemy that needs to be completely eradicated? Actually, in nature, the amount of fat on your body is the ultimate survival armor that determines whether you are a warrior, a survivor, or a speed machine. Today, let's decode what mission your body is currently optimized for. 1. The heavy tank level, when fat is the survival shield, above 33% body fat. Imagine our character, David, drifting in the cold ocean after a boating accident. At fat levels above 41%, David's body is no longer a liability, but operates as a massive energy reserve, helping him survive for months without food. This is the peak evolutionary limit that allows humans to withstand the most severe famines in history. This thick layer of fat acts like a natural life vest, helping David float on the surface while expending extremely little physical effort. Furthermore, it acts as a biological heating blanket, preventing hypothermia when submerged in cold water. However, the price for this superpower is a serious threat to medical health if you live in an environment with excessive food. If David drops to the 33% to 40% range, he transforms into the state of a powerlifter. At this stage, the large abdomen and limbs act as mechanical counterweights, helping the body withstand colossal loads that would typically cause bone fractures in others. This tissue layer functions like a shock-absorbing cushion, protecting David's internal organs from severe impacts or blunt trauma. There is a fascinating phenomenon called the obesity paradox, where people with large energy reserves have lower mortality rates than leaner individuals when faced with acute energy-depleting conditions like severe burns or infections. Simply put, when the body enters a state of energy crisis, fat is the savings account that prevents you from going biologically bankrupt. 2. The cruiser submarine level, the balance between power and endurance, 25% to 32% body fat. At 25% to 32%, your body enters a very specific functional segment, often characterized as the physique of a long-distance swimmer. This is the perfect configuration for David to swim to safety in cold waters, enough fat to stay warm and buoyant, yet flexible enough to sustain high-intensity movement.
On land, this mass helps David generate significant momentum during impact, extremely useful if he is a football player who needs breakaway power. Additionally, this fat level allows David's immune system to burst with energy, such as high fever, to kill bacteria without needing to burn muscle for fuel. However, there is an interesting biological inequality here between men and women. For women, 30% fat is actually an elite metric, leaner than 90% of the female population in the US, because women naturally require more essential fat for reproductive function. Visually, a woman at 30% body fat will look similarly toned to a man at 20% body fat. Hormones are the architects. Testosterone encourages men to accumulate visceral fat, creating a blocky appearance, while estrogen directs fat toward the hips and thighs for energy storage. Socially, this fat level in men is often misunderstood as unattractive, but in reality, it provides a hidden edge in stamina that overly lean individuals lack.
3. The versatile warrior level, the safety zone and optimization, 15 to 24% body fat. If you are male and in the 19 to 24% range, congratulations! You have landed in nature's most ideal sweet spot. Your body now understands there is no risk of starvation, so it comfortably invests energy into reproductive function, cell repair, and maintaining mental clarity. This is the level where natural testosterone peaks, neither suppressed by extreme dieting nor converted into estrogen due to excessive fat. You might feel that you look average, but statistics show you belong to the top 12% of males with the best physique in modern society. Functionally, this is the best configuration for long-distance marching while carrying heavy loads. Enough fat to avoid exhaustion, but not so heavy as to overload the cardiovascular system. In a survival scenario requiring hiking through the wilderness, David at this level would outperform both the extremely lean person, runs out of energy, and the obese person, inefficient movement. When dropping to the 15% to 18% range, you switch to the mode of a rock climber or parkour athlete. The strength-to-weight ratio reaches its optimum level, allowing you to lift your own body weight effortlessly. The greatest advantage here is heat dissipation. The thin layer of fat allows heat from the muscles to escape quickly, which is extremely useful during intense exercise in hot environments. This is the ideal biological configuration for situations requiring continuous explosive reactions without overheating.
4. The Formula One supercar level. High performance but expensive maintenance, below 14% body fat. Stepping into the 10 to 14% range, the body becomes a machine dynamically optimized for speed and agility. This is the domain of sprinters and fighters, where every gram of weight is calculated to generate maximum output. But the true value of this level in modern society is a status signal. Because it is extremely difficult to maintain this fat level, it inadvertently becomes a billboard for the owner's iron discipline and ability to master their cravings. The nervous system at this level operates with extreme sensitivity, allowing for quick reflexes and instantaneous changes in direction, a life or death advantage in chase and escape scenarios.
Although stored energy is low, the fat is cleverly hidden within the muscles, intramuscular, helping to mobilize high-speed energy immediately. Dropping to the extreme 6% to 9% range, you gain an absolute advantage in sports divided by weight class. The visible vascularity and separation of muscle fibers create a fearsome psychological pressure on opponents from the very first glance. The body is now in a slightly catabolic state, with stress hormones like adrenaline consistently high, keeping you in a fight-ready condition. However, this state is biologically very costly and unsustainable for long-term health. Ultimately, below 5% is the theoretical limit of life, leaving only minimal fat to protect the brain and internal organs.
This is the pinnacle of bodybuilding aesthetics on stage, where every muscular detail is exposed. But remember, this is an extremely risky state. The body is on the verge of exhaustion and can only be maintained for a very short period for performance. 5. A brief, simple, and memorable conclusion about body fat. Don't look in the mirror and hate your fat layer. Instead, view it as the character gear you are currently wearing. If you need to survive in a cold wilderness, fat is your best friend. If you need to hunt at high speed, leanness is the ultimate weapon. The issue isn't the specific number, but rather which biological configuration you choose to serve your lifestyle.
If you want to explore more astonishing things that others are too afraid to touch, hit that subscribe button now. And if you've already subscribed, welcome home.